And yesterday, during the free agency frenzy on the Pat McAfee show, Adam Schefter was joining the program, and the Browns came up, and Schefter gave a little, we'll call it insight into the Browns quarterback situation. Pat asked him, what's going on with the Browns? And this is how they answered.
What's Cleveland doing?
Cleveland, that's it.
Cleveland.
Okay, Shedeur Sanders.
Pro Bowler.
They have Deshaun Watson. And by the way, let me say this. There are people out there, and we'll see how it unfolds, but there are people out there who believe that Deshaun Watson could very well be the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns.
I saw him doing running back drills. I saw him doing running back drills.
He's getting paid.
He's definitely getting paid, and I do appreciate the fact that he's like, you know what, I will give this thing a go again that's paying me $230 million guaranteed. Let's go ahead and try this out. Because at one point, when Deshaun Watson was playing good football, boom, it was awesome football to watch.
Yeah.
We were down there in the AFC South watching when he was with the Texans. There was a time where J.J. Watt was walking off the field after the last game of the season, and he looks at Deshaun Watson. He goes, "So sorry, we wasted one of your years, man." There was a time where this.
And I'm glad that Pat McAfee is pointing out the level that Deshaun Watson was on when he was on, and when he wasn't injured and wasn't distracted by the off the field nonsense. Let's keep going.
This guy was being described as the Michael Jordan of football. Yeah. Now, obviously, a lot happened. Lot.
The Michael Jordan of football.
A lot happened off the field. A lot happened on the field. It was a very long, dramatic, very serious and intense stuff that took place. So mentally, was he ever going to be able to get back to being a quarterback, especially whenever you're sitting on super satin sheets, the most satin sheets in the history of NFL with their fully $230 million guarantee? Will he ever be able to get back to that? We hadn't seen it. I mean, we hadn't seen it. We didn't expect it. That would have been the mental toughness level to be able to get back to being elite QB while getting paid as much as you have without playing for as long as you had, and with all the work that it takes, especially going to a different. It's like, I thought that was going to be tough to see him play football after he took that long off, but maybe he's hit a point in life. One last go here. Mm-hmm. One last time to lead a team. And the Cleveland Browns are a place that do not have a setup.
Who said it's his last time to lead a team? They keep pushing this narrative that somehow Deshaun Watson is at the end of his rope, at the end of his road. He's not. His road or his rope. Let's keep going.
Quarterback, so maybe he is able to rewrite the end of his football story, his football life, and maybe that happens with the Cleveland Browns.
So Zach Schefter started that clip saying there are still people who believe it could be Deshaun Watson. And they showed him doing running back drills, which I think is a very apt way to put what he was doing in those particular set of circumstances. But Zach, you talk to people in Berea. Is there a belief that maybe Deshaun could be the guy at some point again, or has that book been completely written?
I was told earlier this week, it's pretty much a similar thing, that I am dead wrong and that there is a real belief that Deshaun Watson can play well if he's called upon to be the starting quarterback. I think that is ridiculous. I think that is ignoring the truth. And I think anyone buying that for 1 second, including buying this propaganda video, is just getting fooled. Deshaun Watson is...
Because Zach Jackson, the bad-built, funny-headed, whiskey skin, cornball, nerdy dude, full of hatred, knows more than whoever the people in Berea that he talked to are. Meaning the Cleveland Browns. Because you ain't talked to Haslam, you ain't talked to Monken. You keep monkeying around with your nonsense. This Zach Jackson dude is a joke, but let's keep going.
The main reason the Browns are in the spot that they're in, right? And he would have to play so well even if he plays. And there's zero evidence.
All right, it looks like we have plenty of evidence. A lot more than zero. Zero evidence. Zero. And how's that for some evidence? Oh, nice escape move. Kind of looking like Shedeur. Nice check down. More like short pass. And let's get this evidence cracking. It is evidence all day.
Delivers a strike. That's Cooper. We crossed the 10-minute mark before halftime. Watson on first down, throwing towards the end zone. Wide open.
That he could do that. He's not healthy. He has not been effective. He has never been a leader of this team. He's done nothing but fail the Cleveland Browns over and over again. To go.
A lot of anger and a lot of hatred there. Now that is What's under that energy is the baseless allegations by the sex workers. I mean, the massage therapists that advertise their services on social media. They want to use that as some type of a male feminist card when they go at Deshaun Watson and other black athletes. Do not forget that the white supremacists have found a way to take away the money and the careers of black athletes by using the feminist thing. They don't give a good gosh darn about those massage therapists. But when it comes to any type of a dispute between a man and a woman, the white boys always take the woman's side to try to gang up on the black man. Watch that. The same way that they're trying to say that we need female coaches and female coaches in the NBA as well. I'm not saying that if a team comes to grips or comes to terms with a female that they like, whatever, but they're going to start using that as a way to take away coaching jobs from black coaches. Mark my words.
Back to this dance and expect him to stay healthy, play well, and play really well to get a young team forward, and then his contract is up. It's a ridiculous thought and would be a complete failure to even explore it. It's a lack.
The Cleveland negative media are back at it again. What's getting under their skin is there are two black quarterbacks, 1 and 2. Whatever that order is, I think it should be Shedeur and then Watson, but I would not be surprised if Watson can take Shedeur's place at number 1 because he is that good. And Andrew Berry, who they loathe and despise, who's doing a damn good job in the off season so far with free agency, if you ask me. Let's go.
Last resort only. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but the Browns are going to be wrong. And it would be failing Shedeur, it'd be failing the rest of the system to intentionally put Deshaun Watson out there.
Oh, now they like Shedeur again. Because a couple of weeks ago, they all liked Deshaun Watson. Now they're showing him sitting down with an injury. That's really ill. Do not forget, when it comes to black quarterbacks, they act as if being injured is equivalent to bad play. They don't do that with the white quarterbacks. Hell, Josh Allen, who they have been nut hugging for the last few months, stunk it up in the playoffs. You'll never hear them talk that ferociously about Josh Allen.
Week 1 or ever?
Ever, but mostly week 1.
Okay.
Ever.
I mean, you know the team as well as anybody, and I couldn't agree more with you. But we all know this team. We know the organization.
When you apply logic, it's real trouble.
Right. So when you apply.
Once again, saying negative things about the Cleveland Browns organization. This bad-built nerd. You got the other guy. Is he even from Cleveland? Dustin? I don't think he is. And McNugget's not from Cleveland as well. Why are they even talking about the Browns?
Apply logic to something, do the opposite. That's what the Browns will do. And with that being said, I would not be surprised if he runs out there week 1, nor would you.
No.
Nor would you. So get ready.
Yeah, I think week 1 is probably not going to happen. We're going to see who they add and how they go about it. But don't May and June have to be for Shedeur and whatever other young player are added in there?
I'm not Todd Monken. I don't know.
No, right. You're not. But if I'm Todd Monken and I say I've waited my whole life for this, I can't possibly go in with just Shedeur and Deshaun. Because I need a fallback. I need to get multiple guys ready. We have to learn. We're building the whole offense. We're building the whole team, a whole program here. But the guy has not been available, has not been effective, was given the keys to the kingdom, and the kingdom crashed.
Now, do not forget that Watson was dealing with the same problems that Shedeur was, a bad O-line and bad receivers and a lot of injuries. Not only to him, but to other players. And, the common denominator in Kevin Stefanski, a horrible coach and a bad guy. Let's go.
Has not played football in 23 months by the time the season starts. And it was not playing at a high level or healthy when he was. Mm-hmm. So why in the world would you think that it's going to change now? And why would anybody base it upon a few videos? Of course he's working out. He's coming back from major injury. Good for him. Yeah. But the money is guaranteed, and he's only on this roster because they could not afford to cut him.
Now, the fact that he refers to the videos, and he seems really upset about the videos because he's looking good in the videos. So they keep calling it he called it propaganda. That's what you say about a dictator or some type of an evil entity. Propaganda films. What is Deshaun Watson? Russia? The USSR from the 80s? Propaganda? Is he the CIA putting out propaganda? Boy, the level of hatred coming from these people, from the Cleveland media, is astounding. Asinine. The level is astronomical. The vitriol and the negative energy that they harness towards Deshaun Watson. Let's go.
The Deshaun Watson trade sank the Cleveland Browns. It is absolutely unbelievable that this front office remains employed because it did the Deshaun Watson trade.
And the truth comes out. They are still upset that a black man fired their beloved, mediocre, 4-win coach in Stefanski, who took the job of a black coach in Atlanta who won 8 games, 4 games, 8 games. Somebody's not doing the math.
Think you're going to play him, and that's going to help you going forward? It's absolutely a ridiculous thought.
I would just tell him he's on paid vacation, man.
Exactly.
I do think it's.
He would tell him he's on paid vacation, man. He wouldn't. They don't want Deshaun Watson to play. They want to. Now they're talking about the Cleveland Browns front office. Then they turn around and agree that they should pay him to not play. Just come on out and say that you don't like Deshaun Watson because he has more money and more girls than you'll ever have, and his wife looks better than yours. Just stop it.
Not a coincidence that people are starting to spread the fact, and like you said, you heard from someone in Berea that Schefter's heard it. I know Rappaport's mentioned it. I think Breer or Pelissaro, one of the, it's being spread around. People in Berea are pushing that narrative that there's a chance Deshaun Watson could be the starter again.
Are they pushing the narrative, or is the narrative pushing itself because Deshaun Watson is looking good throwing the ball and running the ball behind closed doors? Don't forget, Deshaun Watson can use his legs. If he is healed completely from injury, and people do come back from Achilles these days, ask Jason Tatum. Basketball players use their Achilles more than football players. If he can get back to speed, I mean, Shadour's going to have a run for his money.
That is not fake news. They are pushing that narrative. I mean, Zach, you just told us that you talked to someone who's pushing that. Will it happen? I'm highly skeptical. Obviously,
do you think that is the Browns on purpose putting stuff out there just to test the waters and see what people, how it would be received if they put him out there again?
Could be. Let me clarify. I was told not that they think that he'd be the week 1 starter, but there is a strong belief that he could play well if needed. Meaning that somebody else is playing well.
Yeah.
But the second thing, Dustin, let's go back to December. There was a Saturday night. It was right before Ohio State and Indiana played in the Big Ten title game. And they used these national insiders, propaganda guys, to push out and said Deshaun's going to be on the team next year. The Browns had a game the next day. They did not use that platform to say we can't wait to see Shador play. They did not use that platform to say we're really excited about Shador. So we're just going to start to let it leak out now, the bad news. We've gone over the numbers. We can't afford to cut them.
The narrative is being pushed. There's no...
Yeah.
What Schefter
it's being nudged.
Yeah.
Pushed is nudged. It's certainly being nudged, yeah.
What Schefter said yesterday is no coincidence, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It is not a coincidence that all these guys all of a sudden are having similar whispers in their ear that at least it's a possibility. Do I think it's happened? No.
Right.
When we've seen Deshaun play in Cleveland, he hasn't been that good. He's coming off.
Actually, he's been pretty good when he had people to throw to and a line to block for him, and he was healthy.
Multiple Achilles injuries, a shoulder injury that no quarterback has really ever come back from. There's no track record of it. Zach, you were the one who told us that when he was throwing in camp before the Achilles, that it didn't look like an NFL quarterback. So now with 2 torn Achilles and with a torn shoulder, it's going to look better. I don't know. Bull said it best when he was in this chair a couple weeks ago.
Notice that Mikey dropped that code language that he didn't look like an NFL quarterback. They only say that about black quarterbacks. They feel, don't forget, Deshaun Watson is one of those super fast guys. So they feel some type of way about quarterbacks that have superior athletic ability, which are usually black quarterbacks. Josh Allen is very mobile, but he's not Deshaun Watson mobile. He benefits also from a good offensive line. But we're going to keep going.
If Deshaun somehow does play for whatever reason, whether it's injuries, whether he wins a starting job, it's good for the Browns because winning simply is good for the Browns at this point. Any kind of winning is good for the Browns. You could deal with the decision of what do you do with him later? Do you resign? All that's down the road. I'm in the business right now of I want to see the Browns be a competitive football team. That's what I personally want.
Yeah.
So if Deshaun is the guy that helps them get there, then so be it. But I don't think it's possible. I don't think it's like the reality of what's going to happen. But I'm also not surprised that we're hearing more and more of these whispers now from certain voices that sometimes are used to push a certain agenda.
Yeah, I've done the strong case against, and that's reality. And as Dustin acknowledged, the Browns don't often live in reality. So let's do the counter argument, right? The Browns are spending big to just stabilize the offensive line because that was clearly the glaring weakness, right? Now they have bottom of the league wide receiver group and bottom of the league quarterback group. But the most glaring weakness, and the only way those other groups...
They don't have bottom of the league quarterback group. This fantasy that the Cleveland Browns quarterback room is not good is just that, a fantasy.
Let's get better is to have a little protection there.
Yes.
Right? They're reinvesting in this defense. They lost Devin Bush, but every other guy is back. Right?
And they signed Quincy Williams.
So they think they fired the coach because they know they wasted a darn near elite defense last year. And
now notice how Zach Jackson, this jackass of a bad-built nerd, notice how he left out the fact that they signed the middle linebacker. I forgot his name. McNuggets just said it. Addicted to negativity. He keeps saying negative things about the Browns as an organization. They don't like Jimmy Haslam because Jimmy Haslam and Andrew Berry. And listen, you best believe that came down from the top about Kevin Stefanski and starting Shedeur. They feel a loss of control for the Cleveland Browns. And again, I'm not calling anybody a racist, but this is classic white supremacy, what their behavior is giving.
Think they should have won more games. They think there should be young development, and they think they're going to have better young player development, and they think they're going to have another good draft. So in that regard, if you think that Deshaun could give you solid play, that he is healthy, he should be all of these things, and that if it doesn't work for whatever reason with Shedeur or whomever else the other option is, that this guy could come in and give you baseline solid play and give you a chance. On paper, I'll buy that.
It makes sense.
It goes against everything I've seen. It goes against all logic and big picture thinking, right? And again, it mostly just goes against everything we've seen for years before you even start adding up the numbers. That this deal sunk you. This deal put you to where you are, to where you're going out and overpaying these old linemen because your other linemen were already... The Browns couldn't cut guys last year because they owed them so much money, because they had pushed so much money forward to be good in 24 and 25 for Deshaun Watson.
Okay, so what we're going to do is get over the Deshaun Watson misfortune, and we're going to move on. The Browns are not that bad. They have a great defense. They're upgrading the offensive line. They have two good quarterbacks. One used to be called the Michael Jordan of football. One is Deion Sanders' son, who is a very, very, very positive future having type of dude. You have a good running back in Quinshon Judkins and an upgraded offensive line. Just need to take care of that wide receiver position. Honestly, you have a couple of standouts, even though Jerry Jeudy needs to start start catching the ball. He's a fast guy. If he ever gets it together, he's pretty good. And I like Isaiah Bond. The rest of them can get traded or cut, bring in some new guys, hopefully Tate in the draft.
He started 7 games in 24. He did not play in 25.
It's all facts. All facts.
I also don't know how it's received in the locker room. I mean, I'm not saying that the guys don't like him. I'm sure that they like Deshaun Watson, and you know how locker rooms are. You're around your peers. Like they're not thinking like we are thinking as fans or members of the media. They think a little differently because they're in the trenches with those guys. So I don't think it would be that bad with the locker room. Now he'd have to play well, which is also a scary thing for the Browns.
Sure, because like I said, it's not
double-edged
just
sword.
It's not just 500 ball. Where's that get you?
I mean, this is.
Right? I mean, unless you can win the division at 8-9, and he can somehow stay healthy.
I mean, he would have to. I mean, what would you do if what if he went for 5,000 yards this year?
He had.
It's impossible, I know, but
he had the season that we thought when they traded for
he's the Houston 5,000-yard guy.
Yes.
I mean, that's not reality.
I know it's not. I know.
Especially with Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman.
I know, but the Browns don't live in reality, so I'm just like having a fun hypothetical.
Okay. All right, so
everyone's talking about the worst trade ever, blah, 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 blah. What if the guy balled this year, and then you're like, crap, man, we got to extend this guy now.
If they finally found their quarterback, it's a good thing that if you find your quarterback.
But I'm just, would be 1 year.
It's one more reason it's not even worth entertaining.
Exactly.
If this was your first-round quarterback and he was 24 years
What they're saying is they want to lose so they can go get the great white hope in Arch Manning, which the way the Browns are assembling this team and that defense, they're not going to be picking a top pick next year. I think they're going to win more games than people think. But the negativity that they are addicted to in the Cleveland media is why they keep saying these things. This is a strategy to keep up the defamation campaign against Shedeur Sanders, Andrew Berry, and Deshaun Watson.
old and he had 2 injury-riddled years or had struggled, but you were still invested in him at a low price and you still were riding him. This ship's already sunk. Right? Yeah. You're not floating this down the 3 rivers to go play in Heinz Field, right? You're digging it out of the bottom of the worst of the 3 rivers. Right. And saying, like, it's not reality. You have to play the rookie. So if Shedeur gets injured or completely fails, if there's just not another option, and you have to play this. But at that point, he has to play so well, because why wouldn't you then be playing another young player who could be in your plans?
Everything you're saying makes perfect sense. Like,
there's nothing like exclusive access to unique experiences worldwide.
Like, there's no disagreement. Shedeur should start over Deshaun Watson if those are the 2 options. I'd much rather see Shedeur get we talked about Shedeur not getting reps last year.
Right.
I want Shedeur to get all the reps this summer if it's him versus Deshaun Watson. I don't think there's any, based on what we've seen from Deshaun, like the ceiling is capped. The ceiling's the floor. Yeah. And it's that.
That's not true once again.
It's not the expression of like the ceiling's floor because the ceiling is super high. No, the floor is at this point the ceiling based off what we see from Deshaun Watson. They paid $230 million for 19 touchdowns since he's been here.
Let me lay out the timeline. So the Browns are going to report in about 4 weeks for the optional offseason program. But when you have a new coach, it's really not optional.
Right. You should be there.
Yes. You just run the organization to start with, right? So they're going to have 6-ish weeks of.
So Myles Garrett runs the organization, huh? You see how their jealousy comes out from these black players that have much more power and money, prestige, and celebrity than they'll ever have? Allegedly. Let's go.
Individual workouts, early offensive implementation, meetings, just everybody getting on the same page, right? Dustin verbiage, installation, what works for you, what is totally foreign here. Then you get out and you have a little bit of on-field work, not competitive, but one-on-one, throwing to your receivers, putting in this new concept. What did it used to be called? Why did we not complete it? Then you're going to get about 10 or 12 practices over the course of a month, minicamp stuff, that's basically simulating real practice, but it's very introductory. Mm-hmm. It's installation, it's no contact to anyone. That sets you up for 5 weeks of training camp to get ready to play games. So probably this organization is on the track that this is for the future. We all know that, right? You got to plug some holes and overpay to do that. But this is about the future. But every time that you're taking these valuable reps away in May, June, July, August from a young player, if you have any hope at all for this young player, even in September, right? And again, the fact that they might start 1-5 clouds everything, because is it the plan or not? But like, where in this plan is a 30-year-old, oft-injured, completely failed quarterback make you better? Unless he plays.
Deshaun Watson is not a completely failed quarterback. 30 is not that old, given that you have a 44-year-old in Phillip Rivers. You had a 45-year-old in Tom Brady win a Super Bowl. This is a sick guy. Look at the look on his face. Let's just take a look. That's a funny-looking, dweeby, nerdy, bad-built, jealous hater. You know what? Let's just keep going. I don't want to even, because now it's making me hate. I don't want to hate.
At an exceptionally impossible level.
Which I say impossible, but he has shown.
And this is the most important position in sports, right? We're not heatedly debating like the 30-year-old offensive lineman and what they still got left, right? Or should they pay Ronnie Hickman or just go get a veteran? Right? We're not debating that because those are secondary things. The importance of whoever the veteran running back is or blocking tight end.
It is the most important position.
It's the most important position in sports. And you might have the worst. You have Geno Smith with the Jets is the worst room, but you certainly have a bottom 4 room. Right, and even if Shedeur improves incrementally, you still have a bottom 8 room. But riding him is your most direct way out, and has been, of the Deshaun Watson disaster. Yeah. And wanting to revisit this disaster, I can't. Every time I hear it, I can't believe it.
And don't forget that Again, the off the field stuff with Deshaun Watson is why they are trying to push this narrative. Any and every black quarterback that gets on an NFL roster and starts, they want to sabotage them through the media. They talk about them with more negative energy than any white quarterback year in and year out. The hatred is real, it is intense, and it is ugly. But then again, that's what happens when you have suspected white supremacists commenting on sports. They don't talk sports, they talk agenda.
Just never seen anybody come off of an Achilles tear and be bigger, stronger, faster, more.
2 Achilles tears.
No one's ever been better after an Achilles tear. Maybe an ACL, you can make the Adrian Peterson argument, you can do some other stuff, but an Achilles, and he was already having a rough time on the field when he was healthy.
Correct.
So now you come on,
And the shoulder. And the shoulder, on top of it all.
If you're the Browns, don't put the guy out there.
The only reason.
If he plays well, it will be fool's gold.
The only reason.
Don't put a guy that's fully healthy out there and was once referred to as the Michael Jordan of football, who threw for 5,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, and 7 INTs in a year. Don't put that guy out there because it's impossible. These people are sick in the head. That's all I got to say.
I could even see this being semi-entertaining.
Because it's Jimmy Haslam.
Well, Haslam, but it's also a brand new head coach. And to your point of Todd Monken and wait, 59, they're 60 now.
Yeah.
60 years to get this opportunity to go back to that. I hear you.
Exactly. Well, he wasn't born yesterday. He's been around 60 years. He should be smart enough to know that this is fool's gold.
He also is coming in with a blank canvas, and we don't know. He's said good things about all 3 quarterbacks, including Deshaun, including Dylan, including Shador at the press conferences. We don't know how he feels about these guys yet, truly. We truly don't, and that's why there's even a 0.002% chance that I think this could actually happen. And it's that low, and I genuinely don't think it's any higher than that.
If he comes in and plays better than Shador, it's going to happen. That's called football.
Right.
But because we haven't actually seen Todd Monken on the field, put together his depth chart, it's a brand new head coach coming into a brand new situation saying this could be my one and only shot. And it probably is my one and only shot. And it's with the Cleveland Browns. And if one of these guys has to give me the best chance to win, I want to see him completely even field, play it out. I don't think that makes sense from a development long-term standpoint of the team. But I could, in the back of my head, in that little tiny ounce of percent, see how Todd Monken could rationalize that in his head.
And I would say good luck to him with that.
And I don't necessarily disagree with that either. That is to me, I think, why all these whispers are being, as you said, nudged. It's a blank canvas with Todd Monken. If I was Todd Monken, if my name was Mike Monken and I was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns,
it's hope season.
I know where I'm going, but it's hope season, and I guess there's still that one strand of hope left that maybe Deshaun can become the Deshaun they thought they were trading for.
He's always been that Deshaun. He got injured. I'm going to read some of the comments here. Annoyed Chateau. I'm on YouTube. They aren't running back drills, talking about what Deshaun Watson was doing in the drills. They aren't running back drills. They're agility drills. Any position can participate in them. You guys try to make every inch of Deshaun's progress the punchline of a joke. I don't know why in the world Cleveland sports keeps bringing this guy, meaning Zach Jackson, back on the show. All he's going to do is bash Deshaun. That's what he seems to live for. I agree with that 100%. From the one manager. Jason Tatum came back from an Achilles injury in 10 months. He uses his Achilles way more than a football player, especially a quarterback. I still think Deshaun Watson is the Browns franchise quarterback. He was just hurt. He was improving before he got hurt. That's very true. The main reason Cleveland has a problem is his good years were not with us. If he was here in Cleveland previous to his signing, we would be excited about our franchise quarterback coming back. However, the great years were with Houston. He does not feel like the family to Cleveland, only 19 games played. I'm just excited to see the upcoming competition between the two. I do too. Now, I think Shedeur is the quarterback of the future, but I still think Deshaun Watson is a franchise quarterback for somebody. I'm saying you can trade him and try to get a haul.